In terms of public involvement, we've been working on preparing the 2035 Mobility Vision Plan for about the last year and a half, and thus far we've held about 18 TPO meetings to talk about the various issues and the development of the plan. We've also, staff has held about 25 presentations where we've made presentations to community and civic groups, as well as we've been at different community events getting the word out about the Mobility Vision Plan. We've also developed a website. The website, you can reach it at www.2035mobilityvisionplan.org. And through that website, we have various maps and information, and as well as documents that we've prepared in support of the 2035 plan. There's also a brochure and survey that we've prepared. We did that last summer, and we received a little over 300 responses on the questionnaire that was included as part of that brochure. The next couple slides just give you kind of a flavor for some of the comments that we've received. This first slide asks basically the public's feelings about future public investment in Polk County transportation. And as you can see, there's a broad range here, but for the majority of the respondents said we need to invest more money than we currently do. The next slide asks, it's kind of an agree or disagree question, but how to address land use and transportation issues. And as you can see, it says, if we keep doing things the way we've been doing them, everything will be okay. We got a lot of negative response there. We also got a lot of positive response towards preserving the rural character of Polk County is important to me. The next slide rates the factors to be considered in the 2035 plan, going from left to right, greater focus on improving traffic flow. We got a lot of positive comments on greater investment in transportation should be made was another one. Going on to the right there, you can see, and it got a lot of negative responses, was the existing bus service meets my needs. And that got the most amount of negative responses of the questions that we asked. In terms of other key factors that go into the development of the plan, and first off is regional connectivity. And what this map shows is that, and as a lot of you are aware, Polk County is a important county, kind of in Central Florida. We're in the middle of Central Florida with large urban areas, major metropolitan areas to our west in the Tampa-St. Pete area, as well as to the east in Orlando. And a lot of our issues are not just centered in Polk County. I think the same could be said of the people that live in Hillsborough or Orange County. We're part of a bigger super region, and a lot of those transportation issues affect all of us. And that's certainly an important component to our long-range transportation plan. Also, another theme kind of going into this planning effort was the cost of projects, as well as the amount of available revenue that we have to fund new projects. In terms of the cost of projects, they've been increasing over the years, and the revenue has either been staying about the same or actually decreasing in terms of especially state and federal revenue. In terms of future development patterns, we're looking at more urban development patterns, more redevelopment of urban areas, and this has played true in a lot of the new comprehensive plan amendments that have been coming through a lot of the cities in Polk County, as well as Polk, as well as the EAR-based amendments that have been approved by some of the local governments. They're showing more of a need for urban development and higher density. And along those same lines, what our plan emphasizes is more of an emphasis on transit service to help support those higher densities. Another major component to the development of the draft 2035 Mobility Vision Plan is what we call the 2060 Transportation Vision Plan. And this was a study effort done by the TPO in 2008 and 2009 that looks at really long range, out about 50 years, and we identified some of the major activity centers, development, nodes of development in Polk County that we anticipate through 2050. And we devised a way and identified certain routes and certain corridors to help provide transportation to and from those centers to link them and connect them. And what this map shows is those corridors, and you can see they're generally a lot of the major state highways in Polk County, like State Road 60, US 27, US 17, as well as some of the more regional corridors like Interstate 4, where we have high-speed rail currently planned, as well as US 92 and the adjacent CSX corridor. for possible commuter rail someday that could possibly link Polk County and the Lakeland-Winter Haven urbanized areas up with Orlando and the Sunrail commuter rail service that's also planned in that area. It would also extend and link us to the west, to the Tampa Bay area, and connect up with a lot of the transit plans that are currently underway through T-BARTA. And this just shows some of those services that are planned. We currently have existing bus route and bus service. It would call for expanded bus service along a lot of these corridors, enhancing the headways, providing more service, as well as also kind of a progression of transit service into maybe something more along these lines as pictured, maybe an exclusive busway along some of these corridors. And looking farther term out, again, more enhanced bus service as this photo shows, as well as the commuter rail that I indicated, and high-speed rail. Another contributing factor to the development of the draft 2035 Mobility Vision Plan is the Polk Transit Authority. And the Polk Transit Authority what they're advocating is a combination or combining of the three transit services or three transit systems that currently exist in Polk County, operated by the Winter Haven Area Transit, the Citrus Connection, as well as Polk County Intercity Transit Service. And the Polk Board of County Commissioners has voted to place a referendum on the November ballot, this is November 2010, for voters to consider a 1/2 cent sales surtax. And if approved by voters, this referendum would provide funding for the consolidation of existing transit operations under the Polk Transit Authority and provide local funding for countywide transit service. Some of the reasons and why this is needed, why it's feel it's needed, is that the current transit routes are not able to serve all of the existing as well as the newly developed in areas that we anticipate to grow in Polk County that need transit. The proposed sales surtax will take the place of property taxes and other local funds that support the current systems and provide a reliable, long-term source of revenue for transit services. Additionally, the proposed sales surtax would also replace federal funds that will not be available in the future for operating assistance, and this is due to the threshold that is used for these funds, which is about 200,000 people in your urbanized area. The Federal Transit Administration goes by that rule of 200,000, and they say that basically if you're over 200,000, you need to come up with a local source of revenue. They feel that you're more of a mature transit system at that point, and you need to come up with some local funds. The draft 2035 Mobility Vision Plan includes the PTA's plan for countywide transit service, which would more than double service over the next 5 years. Next, I want to talk some about the cost affordable projects, because this is really what we're saying the plan is comprised of. These are the projects we anticipate that we can fund through the year 2035. I'm going to talk a little bit about the prioritization of these projects, as well as the anticipated revenue that we have to fund them. In terms of prioritization in general, for the modes of transit, highway, and bicycle, as this slide indicates, these are some of the components that go into that. And really no surprises here. In terms of transit, we're looking at the amount of ridership. How many people are using some of the current routes, and what do we anticipate the ridership to be on some of the new routes that we propose in the plan. In terms of highway projects, some of those goals that I reviewed earlier, how well does a transportation project address those goals? That's what we look at, as well as current need versus future needs. Is a project needed now already, or is this something that maybe a project is not needed right now, but it is at 10 or 20, 30 years in the future? In terms of bicycle and pedestrian priorities, as well as multi-use trail, we look at things like proximity to schools, parks, transit services, existing developed areas and downtowns, as well as how well do these facilities support transit services, because at some point when you ride transit, you're either a bicyclist or a pedestrian, so it's very important to be able to have bike lanes and bike facilities as well as sidewalks to be able to get you to those transit services. In terms of revenue sources, what this slide shows are the anticipated amount of revenue for both highway and transit projects. In reading on the top where it says highway, you see the total needs we anticipate about, that's $5.6 billion. So the total projects are about $5.6 billion, and then we're saying on the next row down, of all the projects that we show, that $5.6 billion worth of needed projects, we actually can fund about $1.8 billion worth of those projects. And you can see the difference then is about $3.8 billion. So quite a few of the projects that we initially came up with in our draft plan we're not able to fund, unfortunately, based on the amount of revenue that we have coming into us. In terms of transit needs, it's much the same as highway. About a third of the total needs, at about $3.2 billion, about a third of that we're able to fund. Some maps to go over the cost affordable projects, and these are available on our website as well. You'll be able to see them a little more clearly, I think, on our website. But this is a map that just depicts those projects. And to start with, you see some of the orange lines and orange projects. That color indicates that a project is either underway, under construction, or we anticipate that it will be by the year 2015. You see different projects shown below in red. Those are the projects that we anticipate that we can fund through the year 2035. We also show the green projects. Those are projects that we probably cannot fund. We don't anticipate we can fund them through construction through the year 2035. However, we may be able to make some headway in terms of the highway projects. Maybe we might be able to complete a design or acquire the right-of-way for some of those projects. And then you see the blue projects. Those are the projects that, unfortunately, we forecast that we will not be able to fund those projects through 2035. For transit projects, much the same category here. That this is showing some of the unfunded needs as well as the projects that we plan to fund through 2035. This next map shows the top 100 sidewalk projects. And again, if you remember some of those, if you looked at where a lot of the transit projects were, or a lot of the population employment was shown, or a lot of that growth is in Polk County, that's where you see a lot of these projects being focused. Basically in the Lakeland and Winter Haven urbanized areas, north of State Road 60, south of Interstate 4. This next slide shows the top 100 bicycle facilities, and when we say bicycle facilities, we're talking about bicycle lane, designated bicycle lanes, as well as 4-foot paved shoulders to provide enough room in the roadway then so you can ride a bicycle. And those projects are shown in blue. And then you see the projects in green, which those are the planned multi-use trails, like you have on the Fort Fraser Trail on US 98, the Lake Hollingsworth Trail, or the Van Fleet Trail. This is what's anticipated, again, through the year 2035. You may ask, well, how can I get more information, and specifically, how can I provide comments on the draft Mobility Vision Plan? And that's what I definitely want to make sure I spend some time with here. Again, go to our website, www.2035mobilityvisionplan.org, and you can get more information, see really everything that I've covered here today, as well as fill out our questionnaire where we ask you to provide your specific comments on specific projects. If you think something should be included in the plan, should not be included, please let us know. That's what we want to try to find out from you. Additionally, we've also have several workshops planned. We've already held a few in Lakeland and Winter Haven. There's 2 additional workshops planned, the first being September 21st at the Northeast Polk County Sheriff's Office substation, which is on Dunson Road, a little north of Interstate 4 off of US 27. That one will be held between 4 and 6 p.m. We also have on October 7th, we'll be at the Point Siena Community Center holding a public workshop, which is on Walnut Street and Marigold Avenue in that community, again between 4 and 6. There's also additional opportunities. TPO staff will be at the Eagle Ridge Mall on September the 11th from 12 to 3 p.m. We'll also be at the Lakeland Square Mall on September 25th from 12 to 3. And lastly, the Polk TPO board has scheduled an adoption hearing to approve the 2035 Mobility Vision Plan, and that date is December 9th, where we'll have a public hearing at 9 a.m. in the County Administration Building here in Bartow. I've just reviewed all the projects contained in the draft 2035 Mobility Vision Plan. We look forward now to hearing from you, the public, on how you feel that these projects meet your needs. And we've, like I said, we've developed a website, www.2035mobilityvisionplan.org, where we provided an opportunity for you to provide us your comments on these projects. So please take the time to go to that website and let us know what you think. Additionally, you can also contact TPO staff at our offices at 863-534-6558. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you.